Thank you, thank you. My name is Fabiana Dambra, and I work in accounting and program administrator as well. Um, Today I have, I'm going to introduce our guest. Alejandro Fierro is here from representing the Consulate of Mexico. And a little bit of Alejandro, he was born in Mexico, in Chihuahua. He grew up here in Utah. He went to the University of Utah. He graduated last May. He went for international studies and political science. So he's been in the Mexican consulate since July 2022. And he works in the protection department where he assists Mexican nationals in Utah and Wyoming as well with legal issues like labor, civil, immigration, human rights, and other as well. Since he's here to talk to us about all the resources and all the things that we can learn and especially representing the Latino community as well. So I'm going to introduce him in Spanish as well. Mi nombre es Fabiana Dambra, yo trabajo en la parte de contaduría y administradora en programas. También estoy acá presentando a Alejandro Fierro, que está representando el Consulado de México. Alejandro, un poquito de Alejandro es nacido en México, en la ciudad de Chihuahua, creció aquí en Utah, fue a la Universidad de Utah y estudió, que sería en español, estudios internacionales y ciencias en políticas. So Alejandro está acá representando, como dije, el Consulado de México y él está en la parte de protección. Entonces, una de las cosas que él hace para el estado de Utah y de Wyoming es ayudar a las personas de México en todos los temas legales que son como sus derechos humanos, la parte civil, la parte de inmigración, entre otras cosas legales que él ayuda. If you guys have any questions, we're going to do those questions, the Q&A in the end of his talk and then we can just answer those questions in the end. Si tienen alguna pregunta, pueden ayudarnos ya sea por el internet o aquí, y lo vamos a hacer al final de esta charla. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us and having us here. It's a pleasure to be here and to talk. So I'm here to talk about my department, and in specific, the Labor Rights Week for this year. And I'll explain what that is as we get to it. So very quickly, my department. So who are we? We are one of 4 departments within the Consulate of Mexico. And as a protection department, we assist Mexican nationals in the state of Utah and Western Wyoming. Eastern Wyoming is covered by the Consulate of Colorado in Denver. With legal issues in multiple areas. So labor, I'll get into a case about that later, just to explain it into more detail. Civil, mom and dad get deported and child stays in DCFS custody. Who helps there? I do that. Migration, deportations, administrative. So that's more economic aid, or if a family member passed away here and they want to send the body back to Mexico, then we help out with that. Human rights, when those are violated either by an officer or some type of government official, or those cases, trafficking, so human trafficking as a whole, which is what I handle, and then penal and vale. So penal is referring to any Mexican national who's currently in jail or is going through a legal procedure within the courts, and vale is our lawyer program, and I'll get into that in a second. And furthermore, like today, we participate in a multitude of presentations and discussions with community leaders and the Mexican community at large. So a little bit about our work. So this was actually this past Friday. I went and visited a construction site down in downtown Salt Lake with Southwest Carpenters Union. They're an ally of ours, and give us different job sites and things like that. So if at some point you would like to come into contact and want us to go out to a job site, or if you hear of something happening, please let us know. We love to do those visits. So our labor cases, so as a consulate on foreign soil, we have little to no legal capacity. So it's not like I can go to an employment site and be like, hey, boss, you're not paying 3 of your employees, pay them right now. I don't have any capacity or ability to do that. So we depend on our allies and other effective institutions relating to the case, and we connect our Mexican nationals to them. So for example, a case of unpaid wages would be referred to the Utah Labor Commission through the wage claim form, or the Utah small courts, depending on the amount that hasn't been paid. Obviously, if there is a case that has a vast amount of legal variability, meaning that either it's very complicated or say they haven't been paid more than, I think it's 11K in the state of Utah, then they have to lawyer up and start a legal process essentially. And so that's where our lawyer program comes in, and we actually cover all those costs with the lawyers and things like that. We have lawyers in civil, in labor, migration, and in some intense cases where the death penalty is being included, then criminal as well. And so more into what I'm here for today, our Labor Rights Week. So a little bit about that and its origin. So the creation of the Labor Rights Week was done in the early 1990s I guess in union with the US, because there was a lot of legal issues arising in the US. As you know, Mexico does send a large labor force to the United States every single year, and it maintains its labor force. But with that comes a lot of issues every once in a while, right? And so Mexico also utilized it as an opportunity to strengthen diplomatic relations with the US. So for example, earlier this year, the Department of Labor released a study in relation to child exploitation. And so in response to that, as part of our work as the Mexican Foreign Service in the US, we started creating classes and different seminars on that topic as well to work in unison with the United States and what they see as a goal within their Department of Labor and things like that. Our objectives this week is to raise awareness of labor rights and the understanding that all workers, despite nationality or legal status, have a right to them, which is incredibly important. To strengthen not just our ties with our allies, but the ties between different labor organizations and the Mexican community as well. We do this in different ways, but for example, just organizations that are struggling or have a tough time communicating with the Mexican community, an opportunity like this and events like this allow for them to kind of bridge that gap between the two communities. And more importantly, to educate the community of what they need to do or what they can do to defend their rights as Mexican nationals. So this is in case they don't get paid, a security issue is going on, they feel unsafe in their job, they come to us and we help them out with that. And so how do we meet these objectives throughout the week? So my favorite part, honestly, about the Labor Rights Week is that it doesn't have a set schedule or build up. It's built upon the needs and the wants of the community that we address here as a Mexican consulate. So we work with allies, as it says there, in constructing the Labor Rights Week. So we're working with Southwest Carpenters Union, we're working with Cesar Calvillo, Roberto, all our allies in the labor force to help us understand, hey, what do we need to do for our community for this year in particular? And so our structure does vary from year to year, but what it looks like for this year is we're going to offer numerous amount of classes. So forklift certification, how to use chemicals, if in particular that's for more of our Mexican national who are women and who are working in more domestic jobs, how to handle chemicals, things like that. So we'll be offering those at AGC, which is where the event was hosted last year, but also more throughout in the consulate throughout the week as well, so that they feel comfortable coming to us and being able to have that certification or have that class down with us. So that will be offered. That's done in partnership with Cesar, Roberto, and Eduardo. If you've ever met them, they're great individuals. I think they're in the meeting as well. We have an opening event. This happens at the very beginning of the week, and it's to kind of initiate and recognize the start of the Labor Rights Week. It has a signing of a memorandum between the Wage and Hour Division and the Mexican consulate or the Mexican government officially. In addition to that signing, there's a small panel that is hosted to discuss a certain thing with experts in the field. So last year, we focused on women in the field. And so we had, I think it was about 6 different women from pretty much labor and business as a whole in the state of Utah, specifically 6 Hispanic women who have experience to share and things like that. And so that's what we did last year on top of the signing of the memorandum. And then one of our bigger events is the job fair. And this is in partnership with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and specifically our contact Juan Pascua. And we host a job fair in AGC, usually the Wednesday of that week, to help give employment opportunities to the Mexican community. And we work with both full organizations like the VA, USPS, all that stuff, as well as part-time agencies, because we understand that many Mexican nationals do not have a legal status. So that still allows them to work legally within the US. And info tables at the consulate, which is a big one for us, actually. So we invite as many allies as we can directly to come directly to our offices and have info tables with the community. So the reason why we do this and we kind of bank a lot on this is because a lot of Mexican nationals don't go to resources or don't go to offices because I work from 8 to 7. How am I going to go there and then come back here? Things like that. They're already taking their day off because they need to come get their passport from us and it's a couple hours wait, things like that. So might as well give them the resources there and then, right? And so that's what we do. That's a big part of what we do throughout the week. And so last year, I think we had around 6 tables, 6 organizations tabling every single day, anywhere from OSHA. I think Utah Safety Council provided a table last year, if I'm correct. And things like that. So it's a way for the Mexican nationals to quickly and right there and then get in contact with organizations they probably need to get in contact with sooner rather than later. And so for this year, the Labor Rights Week will be happening from August 28th to September 1st. August 28th we will be hosting the opening ceremony. That usually happens towards the earlier part of the day, so probably around 10 to noon is when that happens. And like I said, that's where the signing of the memorandum happens, where the panel happens, things like that. That one's not so open to the public, it's more open to our allies and things like that, and kind of having a nicer event just to start off the week. And then the job fair will also be hosted in AGC, and that will be August 30th. All of that, if you have more questions about it, I'm happy to answer them. And then the classes we are confirming a lot of those this week. So once I have dates and what those classes are, I will freely pass them over to you all so that you can share them and advertise it as much as we can. Next week, our material is hopefully coming in, and our graphic design stuff is coming in for this week. So I'm hoping once we have that, I will also share that with all of you so we can get that out there. And it's not too late to get involved. I mean, he already mentioned that he's going to table again this year, which is great. I kind of expected that. But seriously, if you know other organizations who would benefit from getting involved in this, or just someone who has any questions about the consulate and what we do in relation to labor and safety and things like that, this is my email if you want to get it down. I'm pretty much on it 24/7. So at any point or day, if you want to email me about something in relation to Labor Week, or the consulate, you definitely can. But do we have any questions? Yeah.
Sure. Is there a cost associated with those courses?
Yeah.
Okay.
So not all of them will have a cost. Some of them will be automatically free. The one that will have a cost, and we're working with our allies on this, on how we can cover some of it, both the consulate, AGC, and some of our other allies, but it's the forklift certification. So on that Wednesday, what we're thinking of doing is having a forklift certification done for around 20 Mexican nationals who can sign up first come, first serve. The consulate is willing to put part of that money for the cost. I'm working with AGC. Hopefully they're willing to put some as well. And in that it'd be from 2 to 6 is our plan, right? Pretty much leading into the job fair time. And in that time, those 20 individuals who sign up will get the class, we'll take the test, and we'll take the practical exam, and we'll come out with the certification there, and that completely free. So we're hoping to get that down pretty much this week, and all the logistics and things like that. And like I said, once we have which classes we're doing and which ones do come at a cost, small cost. We'll let y'all know and what that information and details hold. Anything else? Oh, there's a question. Just missed it. Yes. Like I mentioned, we are going to do one of the ones that we're going to offer in the consulate this year, which we haven't done before, is simply just like a paperwork overview. So like a lot of Mexican nationals don't even understand the paperwork that's given to them. And so one of our classes that we're going to offer, I think on the Thursday of that week, is just an introduction to understanding the paperwork you fill out when you start a job and things like that. Just, it seems basic, but it helps our Mexican nationals a lot. And I mean a lot, because a lot of the times in their W-9s or their W-2s is when they fill out things incorrectly. And so when tax season comes, things are bad, just in general. So, and it just gives them, I think, more secure standing when they go for a job application, or they have to fill out those documents and things like that. And like I mentioned, one that we will have again is the how to use chemicals properly. And that's just to support women in particular who are in more of a domestic setting when it comes to their jobs. Would like to become allies. Oh.
That was my next question for you.
Yeah.
Why do you need to be?
Yeah, so pretty much all you need to do is send me an email. That's pretty much it. A lot of organizations find that there's no membership fee, there's anything like that. Usually we try to host, we call it the Utah Hispanic Safety Alliance. I believe you came to the last meeting. We try to host 2 meetings throughout the year, usually just, and that's when all our allies together come. So it's Utah Safety Council, it's Utah Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, things like that. It's all our representatives who are willing to come together and work together on behalf of the Mexican community and things like that. So again, any form of involvement, just send me an email. I'm more than happy to. Any other questions, Cesar? Yeah.
So early on, you mentioned a labor visit where you went out and visited the job site. What's involved with that, and what do you provide like when you go out?
Yeah, so what's involved with that is, so usually we ask that you reach out to us within a 2-week time frame or more, just because these we do have to schedule out quite a bit in advance, since it's essentially a field trip that I'm doing. And I have to send a report to Mexico and things like that. But you get in contact with me, we get it confirmed through my supervisors. And once that's set, then I come directly to the job site. I meet with the contact there. And then we bring a bunch of material in relation to labor rights. We have pamphlets, we have different documents. We have documents from OSHA. We have also just the regular, like, okay, if you need an ID, if you need a passport and all those things. And then we just go there and directly talk to them. Usually, sometimes we do provide some form of kits, of a hygienic kit, but that's mostly done for our jornaleros, or the people at Home Depot that you see trying to look for a job for that day. We usually save those kits for them. But on this last one, I think I brought a box of 20 different hygiene kits. And so that was just for them, or sometimes we'll bring, if like in one situation, we had one of our allies comment that there were 6 new dads within the group. So we brought in 6 new baby kits for them, and baby clothes, diapers, things like that. So we usually try to bring some form of resource like that on top of all the material that we bring when discussing with them. And we're actually looking into expand a little bit into different labor areas. So I did hear someone mention the mines. So if someone could send me a contact to the mines, because I've heard there's a lot of Mexican nationals out in Price, and I would like to go visit them just to make sure they're okay. But usually most of our visits have been farms, obviously, and construction sites. That's where we usually are. But if you can think of any other field that would benefit from us coming to visit, another job site, another type of job or site, please let me know. Again, this is our time and place to do these visits, since once usually October hits, the head of the consulate becomes a little bit weary about the snow, not being a Utah. So Right now is when we're kind of going at it every single week and trying to get out there. So please, if there's any contact or anything I should know of, or you would like for me to know of, please just let me know either through email or after today. It'd be great. What kind of service when you come to the job site? Other industries? Yeah, covered that. Any other question?
What type of issues are you usually that when you go to this job site and then, you know, like the work say, hey, this is what's going on, like what is the most?
Yeah, so luckily, most of Utah contractors are very nice with Mexican nationals, and we don't have a lot of issues of pay or anything like that. So it's huge benefit on that end. We get a lot of personal issues. And actually, this is something I'll comment right now since it's safety. What we've been realizing over the past couple months is a lot of Mexican nationals, specifically in labor, are being deported or are having legal issues because they're drinking and driving, or they don't have a permit. I understand it's hot days out there, 100+ degree weather. I understand that they go out and things like that. But it is affecting actually a lot of different job areas and job sites in particular. The recent one I went to actually had 4 individuals who are in immigration processes for deportation because of a DUI. So what we are doing in response actually, and I'll send this out once we have more info. One of our contacts in Park City, Officer Libertini, he does actually some driving safety courses. And so we're hoping to do in September at the consulate. And one of our Saturdays that we're open is to host a driving safety class with him. And we're gonna invite a bunch of our labor allies, get the word out. And it'd be hosted straight at the consulate, no cost, so that they feel comfortable coming to us and getting this certifying class or getting this training class. I'm like, hey, how do I get my privileged driving card? Like, there's people who've been here 25, 30 years and still don't know how to, or still don't have it, and just are risking the biscuit every single day. So we'll watch out for that. I'll be sending an email out about that. Probably mid-August is when we'll have it down. So yeah. So if you hear any issues like that, or if you hear any safety concerns that we can be involved in, please let us know. Like I said, obviously this is more labor focused, but we do a lot more than just labor. If there's any legal issues, migration issues, any civil lawsuits going on, just please refer them to the consulate so we'd give them, we don't have lawyers there and I'm not a lawyer either, but we'd give them a legal assessment and we'd help them out. And then if they need a lawyer and can qualify for it, then we'd give them one. But yeah. Any other questions?
How big is the Mexican national labor force? And if Australia wants to provide opportunities in Mexican national, is there a way to do that? Like a network?
For job opportunities?
Yeah.
So I'll answer that question first. So unfortunately, as a Mexican consulate, we can't partake in the provision of jobs and things like we can't be like, hey, if you need a job, come here. If that were to happen, we'd be restricted as a consulate. So we just try to be as independent as we can and as separated as we can. We'll refer people to different agencies or like, hey, I know someone who knows of jobs. Here's their contact. That's what we'll do. We won't provide employment directly. We won't do any of that just because legally we're not supposed to as a consulate on foreign soil. And then we're in thousands, like tens of thousands of Mexican nationals working in the labor force in Utah. And like I also said, even if it's somewhere in southern Utah that you're hearing about this, send us over. I'm going to St. George on Thursday and Friday this week. So I'll be out there visiting 2 farms, jails, things like that. So please let us know. And then also as well, Western Wyoming, we cover that area as well. So Jackson, Rock Springs, that whole area.
So cash out would be included up there. I just want to say that vocational
Okay.
with people and I'm sure this would be a good resource.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. Any other questions? Sweet. Well, here's my email. Please share it around and about. Please feel free to. And if you have any questions after this, great. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Alejandro. I think that was very informational and I'm just really appreciative that you were able to come and spend some time with us. And we will be participating in Labor Rights Week from the Safety Council. So, and I hope some of our other partners will as well now after this. I just had oops, you already got it there for me. Thank you. I just wanted to put a reminder out there for our next webinar coming up. It is on fall protection across all industries. Yep, so it is Roberto Gomez, it's who Alejandro was speaking about earlier, and he is a partner with us coming from Oakland Construction. So with the holiday, that Start with Safety webinar and in-person event is September 6th at 10 a.m. And it'll be like this one where you can come in person. We do offer food and drinks. So if that's of interest to you, we will be here, as well as a virtual option. So there's no reason why you couldn't attend, right? So we're offering you different availability for that. But we're excited to have Roberto with us. And I've been speaking to him recently and he's super excited. I think he's out there virtually too. So I hope he's super excited anyway. But he will be joining us on the 6th. So please make sure to go to our website and get signed up for that. You can see the rest of the dates through the end of the year, but that's our next one. And that's all I had for you. I just appreciate you spending the afternoon or the morning with us. And I hope you found this helpful. And just want to say thank you. And we'll see you next time. Stay safe.